Hey guys, today I want to share with you my fuel pump mod that I did to my Virago 250. So here it is, right here. And as you can see, my engine is nice and clean. There's, I have full access to my carburetor. Everything is just very clean looking on this side. This is easily removed, if I need to get in here for any reason. My fuel pump is easy to take off. But the original OEM pump was very cluttered. The engine, it was ugly. It blocked everything. Anytime I needed to do something to the engine, it was in my way. You can see my idle adjustment screw is very accessible now. I can easily reach it. The fuel petcock is very clean. There's only one hose coming off of it, unlike the original. Let me show the other side of the bike. You can see that the engine is very clean on the right side of the bike as well. The OEM fuel pump is gone. The engine looks nice and clean. Visually it looks a lot better. And once again, I can have access to my carburetor. I can easily do adjustments on my carburetor now without the OEM fuel pump blocking. Okay, so it makes a huge difference. Okay, so what you have the fuel petcock. This is you'll have to buy a new petcock. It's for a Yamaha XV250, and it only has one hose coming off of it. That's why you have to change it, because the OEM has many hoses coming off of it. Then you have 1/4-inch fuel line. You have a fuel filter. You'll need about 3 feet of this 1/4-inch fuel line. Then you have your fuel pump with a 90-degree elbow on it. Then you have the 1/4-inch fuel line coming off the fuel pump going up to the carburetor. Okay, now to attach to the carburetor, you have to plug in, so that this hose right here goes up and gets tucked underneath the tank, and then it comes back around into the carburetor. Now what you'll notice is the carburetor, so this is how it is on the bike. Okay, see it? And this is where the fuel hose goes into. And normally this would have a 90-degree elbow pointing to the other side of the other side of the motorcycle. So this is one of the mods you'll have to do, is you'll have to cut off that elbow. And so as you can see, I cut it off, and with like a Dremel or whatever tools you have to cut metal, and leave it as long as you can. And then you'll have to use a file and deburr this so it's not sharp. File it down with sandpaper or a file, and vacuum out. Use a vacuum and vacuum out the metal shavings from when you cut it. You don't want that going in your engine. And so because you cut the barb, the barb that would hold the fuel pump on, hold the fuel hose on, now it slides on and off easily. The hose slides on and off easily, so you won't be able to use this 1/4-inch hose going to the carburetor. Instead, you'll have to use this thinner hose. Okay, so that it fits tightly so it won't come off. And so this hose here you'll have to get off of eBay. I'll put it in the description. It's called a 5mm inside diameter, 8.5mm outside diameter. And then you'll need a connector like this to connect the thicker hose to the thinner hose, so that you can go to your carburetor. So you'll need one of these connectors, and it's made of brass. And this particular connector, I got it locally at Lowe's, at my Lowe's. It's a 1/4 inch on each side, but what I did is I took my Dremel and I Dremeled off the barbs on one side so that my small hose would fit over it. Okay, so again, I'm basically reducing the size of the hose so I can get to my carburetor. Okay, and the only other thing you need is these clamps. You'll need a bunch of these clamps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 to this thing. So you'll need 6 of these larger clamps, and you'll need two clamps for the smaller hose. So 8 clamps altogether. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 2 more, 7, 8. So 8 clamps total. 6 large ones and 2 small ones. And then you'll have to be sure to plug up your vacuum this is where your stock vacuum pump is powered by. It's powered here off of your intake manifold. So you just cut a piece of you just cut the hose and put a bolt in there and a clamp. Just plug up this vacuum here. And I also had to, which I was planning to do anyway, but I also had to relocate my key. This bracket is mounted where my ignition bracket used to be. And now I have my key here now. Okay, which I like. I was planning to put it here anyway, because it's more like a regular motorcycle where I can sit on the bike and have access to my key. Now when you turn on this pump, so I'll turn it on with my key, and you hear it clicking, and then turn it off, it stops. Okay, so I have it hooked up so that I can unplug. The power for this pump is very easy. It's just 1 positive and 1 negative, 1 ground. So it's grounded right there. And if I want to turn my key on, I need to work on the motorcycle, and I'm not running the motorcycle. I can just unplug this. I can unplug this right here, and my fuel pump will not be operating. Like, let's say if I'm working on my lights or something like that, I can just unplug it so it's not pumping. The great thing about this pump is there's no internal moving parts. There's no rubber inside, which means there's nothing rubber inside of it, which means it will last a long time. And the fuel is just pumped by electronic pulses. That's the sound you're hearing when it's on. It's electronic pulses. And it's important to mount the fuel pump low, as far below the fuel tank as possible, because the fuel pump relies on gravity feed. Okay, fuel pumps are designed to push fuel out. They're not designed to suck the fuel in. So you have to have the fuel pump mounted low enough so that you get enough fuel flow, so it's always got fuel to pump out to the end. Jeez. You have to make sure that it's mounted low enough so that the fuel can flow down into it, and then the pump will pump it up. Pumping up is no problem. Okay, the fuel pump can pump the fuel up. It's getting the fuel in. It does not. People think fuel pumps suck fuel in. They do not. They rely on gravity feed. Okay, so that's the important thing. And it works really great. I've had this on for a year. This fuel pump on for a year now. The fuel pump only costs $12. It's widely available on eBay. Very easy to change. Everything is accessible. The fuel filter, I can see it. I can see if it's dirty. I can easily change it. So I just really like this mod. It's one of my favorite mods. I hated every time I had to work on this engine. I always had to deal with the OEM fuel pump, and it was always in my way, and it's hard to maintain because you have all these old vacuum hoses. They're not really well, people don't maintain them. The vacuum hoses are old. The pump is, it's a nightmare to maintain it. So this is much simpler. I really like it. So I hope you like this video, and until next time, bye-bye.